So we're gonna do like the elements. We're gonna do the elements in the yolk, and then we're gonna do it in the master. So like double times. We'll do the element lotus. This will be a good 1 hour video. So we're gonna start with earth, the element of earth, in GEBURAH. And then get the element lotus. We're gonna get it around the yolk, like into the central column and through our heart. And it's gonna sink down to the bottom of the yolk. And it's gonna like bubble up through the central column. And then it's gonna fill the outside of the yolk with the shells, the scales. We're just gonna do a small amount, or quick amount. Even the central column, it's gonna feel rounded, heavy. We're gonna do the same thing. I think we'll do this, like we'll do the yolk, and we'll do the master, and we'll do the yolk, and we'll do the master. So we'll get another lotus. I'll let it fall to the bottom, another earth lotus. It's just like a seed instead of a lotus. And like let it drop down. Like a little turd. No, let it drop down to the bottom of the egg. And starts sprouting and growing. Earth element. And it starts like actually growing like a tree around your egg, the earth. All right. All right, so that like starts to ground the egg. Starts to build the protection. Wow. So the more divine you become, like the magic gets really good and strong real fast. So you need to know that in life. like the less karma you have, the better your magic gets. What you develop is a sense of self-worth, and that manifests in like how your magic is created. So like already, like I'm putting very little energy and it's like developing all on its own. It's almost like a dragon that's coming out of thin air around me to encapsulate my egg. I'm not like even trying very hard. And so we're gonna dump all the earth into the egg. Dump the earth element. And then we're going to make sure that the outside of the egg is the earth element scales. And then so we have the earth element scales, and then we're gonna go for water. So we're gonna get our water lotus. Then we're gonna put it on heart. If you haven't reminded yourself that you need to like porcupine through each scale and like braid the metal mesh around it, do that. And you should do it to the yolk too. That like stabilizes the field. So then we have the water lotus, and that drops down to the bottom of the yolk and then bubbles upward. Bubbles up to create the dragon scales. Dot around the yolk, the water scales. Then I'm starting to feel like magic instead of like oppression and like karma clearing. The thing about GEBURAH is like it's like no fun. It's brick, 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 brick. But when you do the brick, 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 what happens is like the fun begins. It's kind of like wanting to be a circus performer and realizing you have to do 5 million sit-ups and push-ups. Otherwise, you can't do any tricks. And so it's like that. So. Let me tell you about like not having fun for the last 13 years of my life. When everyone else was partying or whatever the fuck they were doing, I would sit alone in my apartment with like Bobby G whispering in my ear or some other guide or guru, and we would be like doing page after page of like a grid and another grid and another grid and another one and another one and more ritual and this and that and this and that and this until I like was exhausted. And then we'd start the next day. And this, and that, and this, and that. And it never ended. And it turned into this. I don't like that background music because it's like chanting instead of like
serial procrastination is something that affects 80% of the population. Even high-performing, intelligent.
I do not want to sound like one of those sales people ever in life. I like listen to a YouTube video. Like I want like that's like a reptile trying to make a sales pitch. So the water lotus. So the water lotus got the scales, and then we porcupine out from the central column to go through all the water scales, and that creates the metal mesh. And then we're gonna get like a dragon seed for water. Oh no, it's just dust. It's dust in the hand. Maybe somebody got a seed. We'll see. We like let the dust fall down. And then it like, that might start to like waves of water coming. So it's like salt water. Ah, it's the salt. So it's the ocean water coming in. Yeah, because the salt water is like cleaner. Like, that's like a cleaning water. Yay, that's better. It goes all the way up to the top of your egg. And you get the scales, the water scales, going clockwise around. You might feel like you're at the beach right now, or you might feel like you're in a wave. You might smell the ocean air. All right. And then we go. And then we go, oh no, we have air to do. So those scales, we need to porcupine through the water scales and then make the metal mesh on the outside. And then we're gonna cover it with a pearl goo. Probably should have done that with the earth one, the earth metal mesh, but we'll do it with the water metal mesh. And then the earth mesh, the mesh should be like the black goo, the black tar heroin. That's better. More earth. Okay, now we have air. So we started air bending a little bit at the bottom of the clip hit. And already I can like, I already was able to like tap in the air element pretty easily, but like we actually have like hints of the actual air. When we started cleaning out the bottom of the clipith with all the Nexa tickets in January, it was pretty phenomenal, profound. You could feel hints of it. A few winters ago, when I first moved to London, we were getting the firebending grids, and like it would come through the palms, and then the palms would turn into the waterbending grids, and like the water would actually start emanating out of the hands. So we know like we're getting these elemental connections. Now we have to like do real good work. It's not consistent because we're not masters yet. And we have so much to learn and so much karma and cleanliness to develop. So we don't attach from those things. We attach more to making sure like little girls aren't going to get FGM'd instead. And that's better. And maybe the magic will just show up when we need it to. And then the air. So we're gonna get the air lotus. And I can already feel the air like I can feel it around my hands, and it's not like etheric energy, it's like air. So then we go air lotus, like at the heart. And we let that air lotus fall to the bottom of our yolk. Yeah, because like at the end of the day, I'm an airbender. So gross. Like I want to be like Korra on the inside, but I'm an airbender. Spirit bender. I need to get better. I don't know why I'm not an earthbender yet. But I'm like trying. What else? Like how much more direct energy do I need to produce to create earthbending? That's where my thoughts are at. How much more brick do I need to get? So I got a hint this last Christmas that the Christmas magic was like a shitty version of the air element was what we were getting in from Christmas for like the red plus blue dragon fire, like Yoda Ball's Cobra Acid. But like a really nice gift was the air element, but like a light version. And then next year is the pine cone, and then the next year after that's the earth. So we'll begin there. And then we're gonna try a few times. We're gonna go earth, and then we're gonna go earth of earth, and then we're gonna go earth of earth of earth, and then lava. So that maybe by that time we'll like figure out how to like do things in a really grounded way. Okay, so that air element, I'm like trying to get it to have the dragon scales going across the yolk, up, going clockwise. And a porcupines. So we're gonna put the dragon yolk around the metal mesh here. And then we're gonna go, so it's like a honey golden milky yolk. And then we're gonna go so we're getting like milky water here for the air element. And I don't want to call it like water, I want to call it like the Hayot goo. This is like the mother's milk from like the Divine Femme. I'm saying like a lot. Yay. So it's the mother's milk, Hayot goo. We're going to coat the bottom of our egg in that Hayot goo. There's maybe good, healthy Hayot goo at the bottom of our egg. It's kind of reminiscent of the healthy mental body at the bottom of the cliplet. So no matter how far you're thrown down, that you always have a very clear, concise understanding of the higher mental realms. Okay, and so that goes all the way up. Some people are like, it's swirling at the bottom or like clawing up the sides. There are a few different things that are happening for different people. Some people might be drowning in this high oat cream goo milk. So there's like a grid here that our air is water. And there's a reason. And it's probably a counter, I don't want to say counterproductive. It's a counterintuitive intelligence, knowing like that we might be more magically inclined towards air, and it needs to be shifted towards water to give us more gravity and ground. It gives us more flow instead of thinking. Like we have clean feeling and flow. Also with the GEBURAH and the air is the swords energy, and that's that it might counter out the knife rate. Okay, so now we're gonna do the scales. And Lucifer says that's exactly what we're trying to do. Maybe in Ravenclaw, when we do the Ravenclaw eggs, we'll go back to like actual air. And maybe in the temple we'll go to air, but like here we're gonna go to like mother's milk. If it makes it hard for you to breathe, don't worry, your body will adjust. You just calm down and take a deep breath in. But it will act as a formal protection. So the dragon scales are looking like as if it's a alligator skin on the outside of my egg. And then maybe we're gonna do actual air. No, this is where we're braiding in the slates for the moonbeam. How fun. All right, so we're gonna imagine a bunch of slates going clockwise around. If you have to pause this and go do the work for the moonbeam to go make your pictures show up, you do not need 1,000 different pictures, okay? You just need 500. We're gonna have the slates with all those pictures on the inside of the slates. And you're gonna remember all the images and the different memories and things that you attributed to each picture. So memory is magic. You have special relationships with those images. special teachings that you decided to agree to when you picked each image, and those things will be part of your spiritual body, but definitely your Patronus charm. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna now put in the marshmallow ether into the air, like we're like a cake squeezer with icing. We're gonna put the ether goo inside the slates. In between all the images and the shell. And then we're gonna porcupine our air element through each scale. All right. Through each slate rock. Now it's like a roof. It's a roof. This slate. Have you ever seen a house built with slate roofs? Okay. And so the porcupine wire pokes through. If you don't want it to poke through the animal, then make sure it goes around. And then it's going to build the metal mesh weave. And then we're going to paint it with another layer of the ether goo. But Lucifer's saying like a pearl goo. And then we're going to coat it in the griffin blue paint. You should start feeling the actual blessing of that animal. And it'll start to glitter. Like I can even feel it in my cheeks and in my body through the bottom of the clipeth. The blessing of that Patronus charm moonbeam. So these Patronus charm moonbeams are when you're put in really awful positions, as if you're thrown into the pit of hell, left alone to suffer there, and then your Patronus can save you. So that's the light in the dark. So these are emergency moonbeams. When you're in the dark night of the soul, it's the same thing. That's where my Orca Patronus came in, was my Dark Night of the Soul, and where that's my honorary one. I'm not going to grid myself with it, but it was there. So Lucifer shows up in his human form with me, and he tells me he wants to manifest in his human form with me, but that I don't like it. And it's part of the inside joke of why he's V, is because I'm so used to seeing him as a dragon or like Yoda or something, instead of his cute boy self. So he's blonde. Lucifer is blonde. It's very odd to see him in the dark stuff. He kind of looks like Draco Malfoy. His kid self. He looks a lot like the Full Metal Alchemist dude. So you have a clear understanding. He's sharp as a sword. Hey. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And then we go paint the outside of the griffin blue with the air element goo. So we're gonna have that on the outside. And then we get the fire lotus in our hands, and it starts to warm us up really fast. We put it in our hearts. It goes all the way down, all the way up to the top of the yolk. And we got the fire element yolk scales. Since I do not know what I'm doing with my life, I'm just following the grid. I don't know that I should know what I'm doing with my life. I should probably have a to-do list or a destination I'm trying to get to, and like seeing if my daily actions are matching the direction in which I am choosing to go toward. So I think that might be where my fire element was off. So I'm being a very yin person. So I'm taking with what God gives me and I'm running with it instead of I'm setting a destination and I'm definitely making it happen. And that's where I need to get to that space. That's what my fire element is telling me. Okay. And then we porcupine out of each scale. Metal mesh it. I'm going to put a pearlescent goo on this one. I do very well in Malkuth and in Yesod. Set a goal and it's a destination and I make it happen. And by the time I get to Hode, everything becomes very intellectual, intelligent, tricky. So I lose the ground, but I also gain ground because I get lessons. That's by the time you get back to GEBURAH, it's about coming back to ground, GEBURAH is to bring you back to Malkuth. And lower, so that you get your work done on the physical plane. That's God's boundary. That's the Capricorn energy. Oh, I have to be here. I have to pay my bills. I have to clean my floor. I said I was going to make all these wands and I haven't made them. I need to make the wands. I need to take care of my body. I spent 9 months cleaning out the Klipith. My body is tired. I need to take care of my body, get back to yoga. Started eating candy instead of eating well all day long because I was emotionally stressed. So, GEBURAH, come back home. Okay. So now we're getting like jacks. Does anybody remember playing jacks? These pin-pricky things, the ball and the jacks. Okay. 1950s game. Oh god. So we get like jacks in our hands and we throw them to the bottom of the egg. If somebody says they have a pinwheel too, like that might. These weird toys. And then we're throwing them back down to the bottom of the egg. And they're going to the bottom and they're pins that start branching out and gritting up for the fire grids in the egg. So they become alive. It's a reminder everything is just a game. To not take things too seriously, but not at the expense of people. And not at the expense of a planet or ecosystem. So we have, by this time, acquired a sense of responsibility and reverence and respect. We should be on our way to getting our A&R marks. So we should have a level of self-awareness that transcends dogma, that transcends demons. So when we say life is a game, it's not to belittle or create reductive condemnation. So you need to remember, oh, life is a drama. So that rationalized the girl that just got raped over there. So by this time, we're not actually rationalizing that when we say life is a game. We fully know that's not a drama, that's not even her bad karma. That was a crime. And now it's a game for us to go fix the asshole that just raped her. And that's the reality of the situation. We also need to remind her what she did to participate to enable it. Like not having set proper boundaries, not having proper door locks, stuff like that. But it's not, we don't condemn victims and reduce them as in just victims. And when we talk about playing a victim, we're talking about people that commit the crime and then play victim to the consequences of their actions. So, like, if somebody knife rapes and then it ends up online and they want to play a victim to it, so that is what is playing a victim. Anything else is quite abusive to put in anybody's face. Like, or drug addicts that refuse to get clean, and then some asshole steals all their money when they're high one day. So stuff like that, that's what playing a victim, okay? But when we're talking about normal people, like, it's not. You don't stoop below irreverence when you hit Gryffindor. So we have the fire, and then we have the dragon scales. So there's a sense of Mary Poppins-esque maturity as we ascend, instead of weird Slytherin guru dogmas. Somebody was telling me just now that I have a weird Slytherin guru dogma about the fact that I don't have my A&R marks done, even if I have 500 plus pages already written, and I was the one who cleaned out the clippeth. And this is why. Because at a baseline cellular level, I still haven't done the specific pages that are required for everybody. Even if I'll have them done in 30 weeks. So, that. It's less than 9 months away. So we have the fire dragon scales, and then we have porcupine out on the dragon scales. And then we have the metal mesh through the porcupine on the other side. And then we're going to put the pearlescent glue, but then we're going to put a red glue. And you should start to feel the purification of the fire and maybe the warmth around it. Okay. It should feel nice. Like it's cleaning out your whole system. I need to stop saying like. I needed to stop swearing, and now I need to stop saying like and That will happen. So the red glue should be congealing. Yeah, we're gonna dragon fire this right now. kind of nice. Dragon fire. There will be, so it will actually dragon fire through each layer. Somebody said they like that we're doing this at the bottom of the clippeth, this egg, because you know it's like, you know it will really manifest instead of instead of thinking, oh no, I'm gonna have a demon lower self undermine it out and steal it away from me. Oh, gross. Yeah, this is why Gryffindor. No, Clifford. Demon lower selves. No. No. Yay. All right. Oh no. Okay. So now we're gonna do the grape jelly goo. Oh, I wanted that to be the end of this one. We're gonna get the grape jelly goo. Put it in the heart. You're a goober jelly. You have no idea what you're doing. And that's okay, because we're like creators in life. So if you don't know what you're doing, it's because you're a creator. So the best way to deal with it is set an intention and then create it. So it reminds us there is no should. You should follow the laws. For me, it was I have a job to do. I'm creating my Archangel Kamael. So now I have to follow the laws around Archangel Kamael. Okay. I have to show up as Archangel Kamael. And I have to create. So I need to sound like Archangel Kamael. I have to be Archangel Kamael. All right. That's life. But there's no to-do list other than what I see the job that needs to get done and what I choose to creatively discern of how I want to do it. All right. So then we put the dragon scales for the grape goober jelly, spirit goo, around the yolk, and we porcupine it out through each scale. And we're gonna put a darker purple goo on the metal mesh that we create. And this helps balance out our need for demonic energy. Is if we are like friends with our own darkness, we'll spend more time battling a demon than creating one. better to be battling the demon. So. And then we're gonna paint that with the Fiantoduri Cully pink color. Maybe we do some weirdo alchemy symbols on it. I'm gonna do the Helm of Awe, but the DNA sequence, the 24-string DNA sequencing. So that's the Adam Cadman. All right. And then we're gonna get, oh no, it's just black tar coming in my hands, and it turns into purple glow taffy, and it just falls down to the bottom of my egg. And it just falls. We braid it, like let it fill up. Because it's taffy. And you're gonna see some spiders claw and climb out of it to weave webs with the energy of the taffy through your egg. And this is why we love spiders. The difference between a spider vampire and a spider witch. Spider witches create, they weave webs of new consciousness into the planet. They do so much work. It's usually divine. And a spider vampire uses a bad web to catch and like drain energy out of people. So they're not the same. One's a creator and the other is a taker. Like, so one's Shelob. I hate Alicia's references. One's Shelob, and the other's Hermione Granger, knowing how to deal with Devil's Snare. Or creating Devil's Snare as a protection mechanism. So that's the Spider Witch. Or Charlotte. Charlotte's Web. Redefine reality with a word. So the spirit goo should be being webbed and weaved around you. Your whole personal egg. And then we have the remaining scales for the spirit goo. Go clockwise around the egg. And by this time, you may feel like you're gonna get knocked out. So this is the delta wavelength. And then the porcupine is gonna go through the spine through each scale, creating the metal mesh. And we're gonna put a purpley gray paste on the outside of the metal mesh. So we call this gray cake. That's another one of it's a frosting kind of plaster. But it's not plaster. And we're gonna bring in the ether element lotus very quickly. It goes into our hearts, to the spine. Go through the vagina or our penile section, and we'll see the blood drip down and go, that's where the knife right began. And I'm wondering why I'm seeing that. I don't know. So we go and we bring the ether all the way down to the bottom of the yolk. I'm trying to clean out the pink energy out of it. And I can't. And I think there's a lesson in that, but I want to make it more than about the lesson. When you do something like knife rape, it doesn't go away. A drop of food coloring in a white cake frosting changes the entire cake. So when you commit a crime at that level of severity, that there is no taking it back. It doesn't matter how much you heal it. So what we're doing to the planet is abhorrent. It's the equivalence of knife rape. You just don't take it back. My confessions piss off people to the point where they want to stab me. Just the point of why they're going to confess to begin with. But at this level, those confessions, they can earn their way out with land rehabilitation work and donations to saints and masters. And like Seva or Slava, which is what is required to ascend the tree anyway. It's shooting somebody because you don't want to do the work, because you want power, but you don't realize when you have power, all you're going to have to do is the work. Oh, I hear religion. That's just most people in Hollywood. Yes. So, when you do a violent crime, like knife rape, that lasts for infinity. Ether. I'm hearing the question, can you ever take it back? When you learn how to get above the wheel, then you might learn how to do your papers to clean it up. Then you might learn how to teleport. You might learn how to do other things. And when you get across the abyss, you might learn how to time travel. And even then, you might not be able to take it back. So that requires extreme maturity. So it's even immature to it's immature to think for a moment that you're allowed to do something because you're gonna time travel and take it back. That was bad planning. That was psychosis. That was demon. So that's the kind of thing Netzakian people do. They go, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then I'm gonna time travel, and then I'm gonna make sure everything is fine. That's why Netzach is closed, and teleportation begins at a Hesed Nexa, and then time travel is at a Bina Nexa. So you have eloquent maturity beyond measure, and you have A&R marks. Oh yay, you just took out all the fun of Kabbalah. So that person belongs in Hufflepuff or in a confession pool. I'm talking about knife rape. They're telling me I'm taking out all the fun of Kabbalah. And they haven't passed the reverence component of Tiferet. So then we have the spirit goo and the ether that goes all the way up, up, up to the top of our yoke. You look like the Marshmallow Man. And then we're going to do a honeycomb eggshell for the ether. And then we're going to porcupine out through every honeycomb, through an ankh. So in every single cell of the honeycomb, you're going to see an Egyptian ankh. The symbol inside the cell of the honeycomb. And you're going to stick each porcupined metal spike through the hole of the ankh. That's a sacred bond that you're never going to knife rape. It's a promise you tell yourself lifetime after lifetime. And if you're throwing it away in your mind, you need to do more pages. You haven't gotten the memo. Every day I'm doing 5 hours of book work right now. And on that list is another world lower of the knife, rape, and pedo, and then another world lower of the knife, rape, and pedo, and the next day another world lower of the knife, rape, and pedo. So we're gonna coat it in Griffin Blue. We're gonna have a dragon. We're gonna have Lucifer. Coat it in a pink coating. Baby pink. Whatever pink. That is the color of the humility book that you're going to be writing for Lucifer and yourself. You have to do one and you have to do both. And my wand shall never be used to create knife rape or to create a knife rape incident. And there's no unconscious energy around it because we're at the bottom of the clipeth. So we're fully awake. We don't have any more unconscious. We don't have shadow that does stuff behind our backs. And so I can already see somebody painting my stuff in knife rape. Because she is a demon instead of a master. And now I'm going to be having to cobra acid her for the rest of her existence. She has broken every vow of nonviolence. She is now considered an enemy of the state. It's not Star. Star was already confessed. It's somebody I actually put on the Pearl queue and trusted. And is not who they said they were going to be. So I can't confess them. I can cobra acid them to death. I will. So I'm being asked the question, what do you do when somebody paints your stuff in knife rig? Put a Gryffindor lava charm on it. It should start to eat it away. This person's going to be publicly. So I put the Gryffindor honeycomb lava. Like Baba G's watching, all the dragons are watching, Jesus is watching. Jeez. Unbelievable. And this is why we don't trust people until they do all their work and get their A&R marks. It's like a Slytherin pissing on you. I'm hearing the question, why is the Pearl Q for not Hufflepuff Ascendios or higher? There are a few reasons. There are a number of family members of higher level initiates or people who made sacred vows and through different lifetimes with different actions that may be stuck in Hode right now that are trying to Ascendio. So sometimes we put them on the Pearl Q as a form of protection and as a sacred promise. But they made these contracts to God and they should be living by them. Problem is well, sometimes they don't. And we get stuck. My mother is one of them. I don't trust my mother with anything. Elijah Wood's mother is one of them. So some of these older mothers, they're reptilian and demonic at the bottom of the clip especially. And they have done very little, very, very little actual soul development work on themselves. And we put them on the Pearl Q and they become liability instead of an asset. And it's really unfair because then it hijacks me and other Aurors or confessors and our ability to be able to like deal with their shit. Because they're abusing the system. So it's a blackmail trap. So then they think they're allowed to send us whatever energy they want because they're on the Pearl queue. They are not going to get confessed. And that's the same blackmail trap Elijah puts on me, which is why he is like public enemy number one. He can't be confessed. So we throw them off the tree. It's like the first thing we do. And then we Cobra acid them. That's all we can. It's just drama cycles. I know. I wish we didn't do that. That is accurate. I wish we just confessed them. I know. But that's like confessing your own mother. Confess your own mother. Oh my god, I wouldn't. Especially if I was a confessor. Yeah. So they do it just to test boundaries. And to be a little, they do it to be shits. All right. Awesome. And we can order book them, but they're doing this in front of the dragons. The minute the dragons pop into the planet, those people will be the first the dragons hunt down for dragon meat. It's that simple. All right. I'm trying to wash the knife right off. Can't. Now that person stinks of it for infinity. I will forever remember that this part of the egg was polluted with somebody throwing knife rape paint on me. That was supposed to be a respected Ascendio. She's pissed. So I'm gonna lava it, and then I'm gonna Gryffindor blue it. I'm gonna lava it, and then I'm gonna Gryffindor blue it around the yolk. I'm gonna lava and Gryffindor blue it. Lucifer is gonna. Let's do the onyx again. And the honeycomb. So somebody said people are just asking for it when you do that, when they do things. Like, yes, they are. And they're so that's why they don't really pass Tiferet, is they're so arrogant that they would do it without having like Tiferetters aren't that arrogant. So those kind of curses, as we progress, we will find those people in Azkaban. They're not allowed to exist. I'm trying to shut down Netsuck so they can't even do it, but like, that's hard. We're getting there. All right. All right. So now we have the ether energy for the master egg. And just let the ether fall down to the bottom of the egg. We didn't get anything in our hands. Just dough going down the bottom of the egg. Liquid dough. And then we're gonna have the dragon scales. They're marshmallow pads, dragon scales. And then we porcupine through each scale. We have the metal mesh. And we dip it in the griffin blue. All right. Forgive this elemental section.